So, I'm back. It's been a hot minute, but I've been at college. How exciting. College during a pandemic. It's cute. It's been fun or whatever. Well, actually, this video is something I didn't think I was gonna do, but I actually got a comment about it, so shout out to the person on my this isn't a reaction video that commented a stats video, because you said the schools that I had applied to were similar to the ones you are currently looking at and or applying to right now. So I was like, why not? Why not share my experience with the application process and kind of my stats. Obviously, this is a stats video. I'm prefacing this as like a good school stats video, like decent schools that were like, a lot of these schools were my match schools. I only applied to like 2 or 3 reach schools and then like 2 or 3 safety schools. So most of them are my matches, so it's not going to be you're not going to hear crazy 1600 20 AP classes, every extracurricular ever exist in existence. It's more of like a good jumble of things. So let's get into it. So my list of schools, I applied to 11 schools. I had other schools on my list, but I decided last minute to not apply because the college application process is tedious and exhausting. So I know this is a little bit late to be uploading this in terms of application season. A lot of people probably have already finished theirs or are finishing them because the ED deadline was November 1st, right? There's still probably applications you can do in December and stuff like that, but I hope it'll be helpful nonetheless. So my schools, I'm going to see American, Boston University, Drexel, NYU, Northeastern, Penn State, Temple, GW, and University of Pittsburgh. So those were my schools. My reach schools were Northeastern and NYU. So, I guess we should start with testing. The testing, I'm not a great standardized test taker. I am a very stressful test taker with any sort of test. Like, I get really anxious and nervous, and that causes me to sometimes panic and then kind of forget what I'm doing. So we'll start with the SAT. I took the SAT twice, in March and then May, I think, in 2019. Take it early, but I was not. And I luckily had a tutor, which was a great privilege, and it very much helped me. But so the SAT was, for me personally, was terrible. I hated it. I struggled a lot with it. I am a very English reading person. I cannot do math. I cannot do math at all. You'll see what I mean later. Yeah. So my 2 SATs, I think the second one was even worse than the first. And yeah, they were not good. I'm not going to share those scores because I personally don't want to bring those back up. It's kind of a traumatic experience, but it probably was worse because I went to an extremely competitive public high school. Competitive, comparing grades, comparing scores of all kinds. And so yeah, when I got those scores back, I felt like a failure. I didn't think I was going to go to college. It was great, but then obviously I didn't want to give up. So I decided to turn to the ACT, which luckily my tutor also knew ACT and was like, this might be better for you because the style of the test is different. I believe that the SAT is a longer test, but it has less questions, but the ACT is a faster test with more questions. Questions overall are easier than the SAT questions, but it's fast, so you have to really work through and get a good pace down, so I definitely had to do a lot of like practice tests for that. And I took the ACT in June and then in September, so like at the very end of my junior year and the beginning of my senior year. My first ACT was okay, but I didn't really study and or prepare for it. I just kind of wanted to take it to see what it was like. But then over the summer, I studied and worked really hard for September, which went a lot better than I thought. And so my scores for my second ACT, my composite score was a 31 out of 35, which pleasantly surprised me because it was a huge, like, I can't even express huge jump from my SAT scores. So I was very happy with it. I don't know what it equates to, and I think like a 1420 or something on the SAT. So I was very happy with it. And then if we break down the sections, the ACT has 4 sections: English, math, reading, and science. And the science is actually interesting. I was really worried about science because I'm not a science person, but they're really like not, you don't really have to know a ton about science. You just have to like have good reading comprehension and like basic science skills to like figure out those questions. So it was kind of a booster to my grade because I actually did pretty well in the science section. Because the math. Okay, so English, I got a 34 out of 35 composite of that section. Went pretty well. I was very happy with that, but it's kind of my thing. And then, so the English, it's kind of like grammar. I think it's mostly grammar and like fixing sentences and stuff, which is kind of up my alley, and that felt kind of good to me. And then reading, oh no, it's out of 36. I'm such an idiot. The ACT said of 36, so I got a 31 out of 36, 34 out of 36. And then for the reading section, I got a 36 out of 36, which was cool. I was like, what the heck? So that means I got every question right, I guess. But yeah, the reading was like easier. But for some reason on the specific test I took, it felt easier than every other practice reading I did, so I think I just got lucky that day. And then science, I got a 32 out of 36. And yeah, that went better than I thought also. But then if you look at those composite scores, you'd think my score would be higher than a 31. Unfortunately, that day went well in every other aspect for me, but my math section was still not good, and I got a 23 out of 36, and it was really not good, and I was like, oh shit. But luckily I had the other sections to like bring me up, so I got a 31. And in terms of my schools, it was like good or over the like average for most of them, except for NYU and Northeastern. NYU, the range is 29 to 34, so I was like at the end of that, and then Northeastern is 32 to 34, so I wasn't even in the range for that. But here I am, frickin' at the school that I wasn't in the range for. You know what I'm saying? Next section, APs, baby. APs. So I think I took like a okay amount of AP classes. People at my school, there was like no cap on how many classes you could take, which I thought was insane because like people were just running themselves crazy with the amount of work they were doing for AP class. I can't even imagine. I only took 6, which is like, I think a good amount. I don't know how to compare to other schools besides my own, but compared to my school, it was on the lower end of the spectrum for like the most competitive kids. I know kids that throughout their time at my high school took like 20 AP classes, which is insanity. But I took 6, and I also took all the tests for those. So in my freshman year, I took 1 AP. I took AP World History, which at my school is considered one of the hardest AP classes that is available, but they gave it to the freshmen because they hate us and they wanted us to suffer, and it was hard, and I got a 3 on that exam, which is a passing score, so that was fine. I mean, I love history, so I liked learning about it, but it was a lot of work for a freshman. It really was. And then sophomore year, I took one AP, A push. The death of me. That was probably the hardest AP I've ever taken. There was so much work. I don't know if it's just my teacher or my school, but the amount of work for that class was almost unbearable. I don't know how I got through that class with an A. I don't know. I failed the first test of the year, and I don't know why I didn't drop the class. I should have. I really should have. But anyway, I got a 3 on that exam as well. So I passed, and I was happy with that. And then junior year, I took 3 AP classes. I took AP Gov, AP Lang and Comp, and AP Art History. So AP Gov, I got a 3. Trend with the history classes, getting 3s. I liked AP Gov. It was probably the easiest history AP. Not like it was easy, but it was the most manageable, and yeah. And then AP Art History was one that I don't know if I've ever seen in a stats video someone took this class, but it was my favorite class I've ever taken in high school. I love art and I love history, and it was really fun, and I really loved that class. And I got a 4 on that exam. It was my first 4. I was very happy about it because that exam was pretty hard. And then I took AP Lang and Comp, which I also loved a lot because I love writing, I love English, and I actually got a 5 on that exam. Sorry, I'm looking at a paper, so that's why I keep going like that. And then for that year, I got a AP Scholar with Distinction Award, which is like, you have to have an average of like a 3.5 on all your tests. I don't know what that did for me, but just thought I'd mention it. And then senior year, I took 1 AP class, and I took an AP Psych. And I got a 4, but that is hard to judge because it was a quarantine AP test on my laptop, and it was like 2 questions. I don't even know. So who knows if that's like a good score, probably inflated score, because I did not study for that test. It was Corona, so like who even knows. But then I also got another AP Scholar distinction because like my average was good, I guess. I don't fucking know. I don't know what those are for. I don't know if that did anything for me. Next section. GPA. So fun. So my school didn't have a class rank for the grade, but I had like over 600 kids in my grade, so I had a lot. I hope I fell somewhere like in the middle. I don't even know. It's hard to tell because it was such a good school, so there was a lot of smart kids, so I don't know. But my unweighted GPA was a 3.88 cumulative out of 4, and that was at the time of my college application, so it's probably different from when I graduated, but I don't know where to find that because I literally just had to reopen my college or my Common App account to find this stuff because I didn't remember. So yeah, that was my unweighted. Then my weighted was around like a 4.65 out of 5, I think. Like 4.66 or something like that. Yeah. It was almost a 4.7, but because at my school, our National Honor Society GPA requirement was a 4.7. I was very close, but I did not make it, unfortunately. But whatever. And that's all I have to say about GPA. And then the last, it wasn't the last section, but it's the last big section, and is my activities, my extracurriculars. Not the most most extensive list. But again, they're telling kids, like, it's about how dedicated you are to certain activities, not the amount. The thing I was most dedicated to throughout high school, and that was being a 4-year varsity track and field athlete for winter and spring. So it was two seasons a year for all 4 years. And I'll just go through some of my accolades, I suppose, and my whatever. And I was a senior captain this past year for my winter and spring. Not for spring, because I didn't even get to compete, so that's fun. And I ran the 60 meter through the 400 meter, and then I ran the 4x2 and 4x4 relays for my team. In 9th grade, I got the Rising Star Award for both seasons, and then I got the Outstanding Girls Sprinter Award in my junior year. And then in terms of stuff that I did, I got All Central League, which was my area's league for competition. All Central League in 2017 for the 4x1, DLN second team all area, which is like my county, I suppose. And then All Central League again in 2019. And then I was a Central League champion for the 200 meter in my junior year, and then I placed 3rd in the 100 meter for that season as well. Another sport was I did JV soccer in my freshman and sophomore year. I was a captain freshman year, and I was also the offensive MVP in 9th grade. But I stopped playing soccer because I didn't like it that much, and I also wanted to commit to track more. And then the other clubs and stuff that I did National Art Honor Society, which was a National Honor Society for art, because I took art classes throughout high school, and you just had to have like an A average in art, I think. And then we did like a bunch of different community service things for that. I enjoyed that, and I was that junior and senior year. And then I was a part of our theater's stage crew. We had an outstanding theater program with amazing shows, and I was in the costumes department. Can I sew? Absolutely not. But I did costume changes and helped with organization and prepping actors with costumes and stuff like that. That was a lot of hours, but I really liked it. I did it with friends, and I did that in 11th and 12th grade. And then I was also part of the New Voters Club in 11th and 12th grade, which was a voter registration club at my high school, register people to vote. And I did that in 11th and 12th grade. And then the last thing I did was I did Habitat for Humanity Club at school, but I also, over the summer during my junior year, volunteered a bunch of times for Habitat, and did building and cleaning and stuff like that at my local headquarters for Habitat. So that's what I did. I didn't do a million things. I wasn't president of any clubs. I was a captain. And I don't have an extensive list because I just did track a lot, and that took up most of my after-school time. I tried to fit in a couple other things that I was interested in and that I enjoyed. Don't force yourself into doing random clubs just so it looks good. Actually commit to it and enjoy it, because there's no point. Anything is essays. I don't know. My personal essay for the Common App, I just picked the create your own. I didn't answer a prompt or anything because I couldn't think of things for the prompts and they didn't really suit what I wanted to talk about. And so my essay topic is kind of weird and unique, but I guess that's kind of what they wanted. I don't know. And I did my room. I did a tour through my bedroom, and I was a tour guide in my essay, and I was taking you through what I saw, because I love my room, and my room is a big part of like self-expression, because I have a lot of like art on the walls, because I love art, and I've traveled, so I have like knickknacks and whatever. And I thought it was something easy to write about, because something I knew well, and I didn't think it was like cliche, like other cliche topics, but there are tons of videos that can tell you what essay topics are cliche that, I don't know, admissions people don't really like. So I had never heard of an essay like it, so I just went with it. It was my first idea. Showed it to my tutor. She's like, this looks interesting, and I just rolled with it, and I edited it a couple times, and I submitted it, and I called it a day. So that's that. And then, so I don't know if I have everything that a stats video has. I didn't watch any before I made this because I didn't feel like it, but I just have some closing remarks and tips for anyone that's currently in the college application process, even though you're at the end of it probably, or kids for next year. I mean, COVID times, it's gonna be maybe different, I have no idea, and I feel for everyone that had to do it this year or in the future years, because everything is really messed up. But here are some tips from my experience. First, I've actually had people ask me this, like kids younger than me, like my friends, and they're like, oh, should I like do every essay for every college? And my answer is always yes, absolutely. If a college is giving you like an optional essay or several optional essays, absolutely do them, because it shows that you're committed. Because if you want to make it like every school you're applying to is your number one choice, is your dream school, because that enthusiasm will show the admissions people that you really want to go to their school, even if it's not your top choice. So by doing every essay possible, that shows them enthusiasm, and you want them to seem like you're enthusiastic, so that way they will let you in, because colleges are very spirited about their schools. So if you talk it up, especially at the schools that are like, why essays like, why do you want to go here? Just like talk up the shit about that college. Say every possible good thing that you can, and it will make them feel warm and fuzzy inside. So the second point I have is go on tours. I know obviously that is close to impossible at the moment, but if a school is offering like a virtual tour, I know it's not the same. That's unfortunate. I didn't have the opportunity, because when I was closing in on like 2 or 3 schools, I really wanted to go back to campus and like look around again, but unfortunately that was like the height of like the beginning of quarantine, like March, April time, when I was deciding, so I couldn't, and the virtual tours really didn't do it for me. But it's better than having nothing, so I guess make sure to go on those tours, make sure to vibe with the school. I guess, what else do I have? Do essays early, especially your main one, your Common App, because that will take away so much stress, because I underestimated the fact that like, I was like, oh, I finished my Common App essay, I'm done writing essays. I was so wrong, because there were schools that had like multiple essays that were required and like optional ones, and obviously I did all of them, so you're constantly writing essays. So you want to get the big one, the big kahuna out of the way, so you don't have to think about that. So do it in the summer or before like senior year starts. That's my tip for that. And my last thing is, don't underestimate yourself, because I did that a lot. Even with my new ACT score, I was like, oh, like I'm not going to get into the places I want to get into, like it's not good enough, my essays aren't good enough, they're generic, like nobody's going to read these. But I did a lot better than I thought. I got accepted into every school that I applied to except for one. I got waitlisted at NYU. That was probably my highest reach school, so that's not really surprising. But yeah, those are my stats. If you have any other questions about this information or other college application related things, college decision related things, let me know. I'm about to go home for Thanksgiving break, and I'm staying home and not coming back to school and doing school online because things are just getting insane and I just want to go home. So I will be checking comments and stuff, so let me know. But yeah, those are my stats. Good luck to all the kids doing this right now because I can't even imagine doing it. I did it in like a normal world and it felt really hard, so I can't even imagine doing it now. But yeah, that's all. Bye-bye.